Kelvin, that 18-0 start, does that speak to the, sort of commitment this team has to, taking care of business and approaching things?
Yeah, but it wasn't all. I mean, they missed some shots too, so let's not get carried away with being up 18-0. The other team has to contribute. They had some looks that they could have made, but that doesn't take away our effort. Our effort was outstanding. We had a great plan. We knew exactly how we wanted to guard them, and our kids execute. But they had some. Even we had some possessions. We guarded them better, and they made it. So it's like in baseball. You can throw a tremendous pitch, and a guy hits it to the wall, and the guy catches it before it goes out. Then you can throw, change up right down the middle, and he pops it up. So now we had some great defensive possessions, but that team can really shoot. We watched them beat Villanova. We watched the Kentucky game where it was a 1-point game late in the second half. So, but there was the Brown kid. His father Brett was the head coach for the Sixers at one point, and then Brett's back with Pop now. And they got a bunch of guys. Number 4 is going to be a really good player. Then Spinoza, he does a nice job. But our quickness and our attention to detail, I thought was good tonight.
Coach, JoJo in his first start had a career high. Just what do you feel about his performance playing those sort of minutes?
Up and down. I thought his, JoJo can't guard the bounce very good yet. He's never had to do that. He's always played a postman. It's kind of like J1. J1's having to defend on the perimeter. You don't get good at that just because you want to or you try hard. It just takes experience. It takes time. He's doing a good job of keeping the kid off his left. The problem was he's shooting layups with his right. These guys have 2 hands, JoJo. They're left-handed, but you got to slide your feet. But that'll come in time. You don't come out of high school and be a great player before the month of December is over. He'll do something. It's like JBR was 5 for 5 last game, and most people thought he was the second coming. It's just they're up and down. You know why? Because they're human beings. They're never going to be at the top of the mountain. You're always climbing. That's why I don't get overly excited when they do something good, and I don't react to anything when they do something bad. That's part of being one of God's children. You're gonna make mistakes, and you're gonna do some good things. You don't react to one or the other. I never have.
Coach, was resting J1 just precautionary today?
I never thought whether it's precautionary or not. I just thought he needed to rest. I have no idea if he could have played today or not. I didn't ask him. I just thought he needed to. The more time we could give him with his injury, probably the better. I'm not very smart, but I figured that out a long time ago.
Damian, how do you think you did today?
Thought I was pretty solid for the most part. Gave up a few points on defense. Had a few lapses just on defense, but those happen. But I gotta clean those up a lot. But for the most part, overall, I thought I could have been, a little bit more efficient offensively. Probably getting the ball out quicker and taking care of it more. But I thought I was just solid.
Coach, with J1 out, was this sort of a chance to experiment a little more with lineups towards the end of non-conference schedule?
I don't know if experiment's the right word. Problem tonight is, and you guys will forget this by the end of 2 weeks from now, but I won't. We lost Terrence and J1. There's not a waking moment goes by that within an hour I don't think of how we're going to replace Terrence. It's kind of losing your starting quarterback, and then you lose your second-string quarterback. you lose 4 or 5 games, people want to know what happened. Well, your 2 best quarterbacks are out. That means you're no good. So with us, without J1 and Terrence, I thought Ramon was not very good the first half at all. You know, so I got on him at halftime. I didn't think Javier was very good the first half at all. Got on him at halftime. I thought Emmanuel played like there's a 2-second clock. You know, he had to grab it before the horn went off, and there's 2 seconds when he called it. You know, he was a proverbial fart in a skillet. He was just all over the place. So once he relaxed and took what the defense gave him. And the problem with young guys that have good games, they try to repeat the good game the next game, and it doesn't happen that way. You know, Javier may never ever have another 5-for-5 game, but played much better than he did. Like, I thought he was great the second half. He had 9 rebounds, blocked 2 shots. He got 1 rebound. He was not going to give that up to anybody. I mean, the FBI was trying to get it from him. The CIA was trying to get it from him. He said, nope, I'm keeping this. And next thing you know, it was their ball because of their possession arrow. But by God, Javier was going to get credit for that rebound.
Kelvin, Damian, 6 rebounds, I think 3 steals. I mean, are you seeing those other aspects of his game?
No, I haven't seen none of that. No. That's why his playing time's been sporadic. You know, when he was at Temple, his job was to score. Obviously, it wasn't the rebound. All you had to do was check his rebounding stats there. It's, you know, I don't know what he thought a rebound was. It certainly wasn't in his vocabulary. But coming here, you have to earn the right to play. You don't get to play just because. I mean, you have to buy into what we think is important. But, you know, some guys pick things up quicker than others. Some guys are really, really smart kids. Like Damian's a really smart kid. He already has his degree. He's graduated from college already. But it's not easy to pick our system up, especially when you've spent 4 years in somebody else's. You know, I remember the first time we played Temple, I think it was Cougars. Was that your freshman year?
Yes, sir.
We played him here, and he was a problem. And each year that went by at Temple, he got better and better and better. But obviously, they never asked him to rebound. I'm not sure about defense, but they certainly didn't ask him to rebound. And so you get rewarded here for things. And you can see how he can score. But he's got to play both ends of the floor. And that's one of the good things about it, this game tonight. Although, you know, Penn's a good team. You know, just because we beat these teams how we beat them, don't forsake them. I mean, they have a good team. But I was glad to be able to play Damian 20 minutes tonight. Probably wish I could have played him more. But you know, our fans start screaming for Ryan at the 10-minute mark, for God's sake. Slow down.
Chris, go ahead.
Ramon.
With Terrence out, how has your role changed? Or has it changed?
I don't think it's changed. Coach asking me the same thing every day, like just be an energy giver and just get on the boards. And I'm good with that. I'm happy with that. I mean, if it's anything to help the team, then I'll do it.
Damian, we just heard a coach's perspective. What has the transition been like for you going from Temple to Houston?
You know, it's just been a steady improvement. You know, just learning every day, taking my lessons for what they are. You know, Coach never says you win or lose. You know, it's either you're gaining wisdom or you're learning. You know, and I think that's kind of what I'm going through now. You know, just taking something from each day, but also leaning on my teammates to kind of help me grow through the process as well. So, you know, they've been doing a good job of just helping me grow through it. And, you know, I've been embracing my role and just trying to get better every day.
What does
13-0 mean to this team going perfect in a non-conference?
Probably nothing. You know, and I mean this sincerely, they probably take their cue from me. I don't overreact to wins and losses. You know, I just never have. You know, I've lost a ton of games. I've never, ever worried about losing a game. I've been disappointed a lot we lost, but that's probably the extent of it. Because we have another game to play. You know, I don't spend all my time looking in the rearview mirror. You know, some of you guys' jobs is talk about a loss for days. I talk about it when the game's over and before the next practice, and I'm ready for the next one. I don't spend any time worrying about it. And I've got a lot of experience in losing games. I've lost a lot of games, but as you get older, you realize it's over. Move on. You know, I'm not going to sit here and cut it up and overanalyze it or diagram it or Benny Hanna it and just start chopping it to death. It's a loss. It's one game. You know, we're going to lose some games. Wait till we lose the game, how people will react. But that's how people are. Thank God they're not the coach. Thank God I'm the coach, because I know how to handle a loss. You know, I think Kansas won the Big 12 last year, and they lost 5 times. You know, that may not finish first this year. There's so many good teams in the league. You're going to lose 5, 6, 7 games. And as long as you keep your team prepared, get ready for the next one, and have good kids. Good kids handle adversity really good. And we've really zeroed in our recruiting with evaluation. We don't really recruit in the pure sense of it. We evaluate. Now, some of you guys get to know our kids, and you realize how good at kids we are. Well, we knew that. We knew that the first time we met them, which is probably years and years before you ever met them. You know, like Ramon. I remember going over to Shadow Creek, Campbell Center, watching Ramon, Damian. We interrogated the people in Damian's life at Temple, whether it was Coach McKee, some of the assistant coaches, people at the university. Because we can't allow anybody to come in here and mess with our culture. And there is nobody bigger than this program. So it's really important for a coach at this level to recruit a kid that you can lose with. You got to be able to lose with these guys, because you will. You know, 1976 was the last time a team went undefeated, and it probably will never happen again. But you're going to have nights you don't play poor against a good team, you'll lose. You know, we've beaten a lot of teams that are probably just as good as we are. They just played poorly that night, so they lost. And we've had a lot of games where we probably should have lost, and we've just played good enough to win. You know, I'll go to the mat for these kids. I have great kids. That's a blessing.
Go back to Chris and Adam.
Kelvin, have you seen JoJo improve offensively around the basket, and what's the biggest things you guys are trying to work on there?
JoJo never had a game in his life. JoJo doesn't know what his game is, you know. But you know, neither did Fabian. You know, JoJo is following the same path that all of our good young bigs followed. You know, everybody thinks about Josh Carlton, for instance. We got Josh in his 5th year at 22 years old. Think about that. JoJo's in his first at 18. You mentioned JoJo in 4 years or 5 years. That's how you compare them. You know, JoJo's significantly better than Josh was when he was a freshman, because we played against him. He was at Connecticut. You know, JoJo's way ahead of all these guys, but his best days are way ahead of him. You see him getting middle and using his little jump hook. He had no idea how to do that. You know, in high school, he's liable to shoot threes. No, he knew damn well it wasn't going in, but he shot him anyway. You know why he shot him? Because he was open. And JoJo, for the rest of his life, will be open from the three-point line. Always. Why would you guard him? But I was glad to see him make his last 2 free throws. What was he from the free throw line tonight? 3 for 6. He's going to get to where he makes his free throws. You know, Damian's been a 80+% free throw shooter, and he's getting comfortable now. Tonight he walked up there and banged 2. If LJ had made his tonight, would have shot 80%. I said, we got such a strong influence with this free throw shooting, we're screwing LJ up. LJ's leading the nation in free throw shooting, probably. But there's not one area of the game that we're not improving in. We're a much better basketball team than we were when we played University of Utah or Xavier or A&M. You know, we couldn't have beat those teams without J1 then. But next month we're going to be a lot better than we are today. You know, that's the way it is. When, you know, I don't lose sight of the fact that off last year's team today we lost Jarris Walker, Marcus Sasser, Tremont Mark, and J1 Roberts. We had 4 starters from last year's team that did not even play today. So we had a brand new team today, and look at them. Look how good they played in their first year in those roles. That's why I'm excited about the next 30 days. See how much better we can get.
Damian, what do you think are the biggest reasons you guys have been able to start 13-0?
Really our culture, you know. And I think it starts with our first group that we put on the floor, you know, and, you know, coach holds everybody accountable, you know, that when you walk on the court, you know, you got to play with a swagger, but, you know, still play to our standards, you know, and that's really just locking in on defense and playing with the ultimate intensity. And I think, you know, our first group does that, you know, and our second unit, third unit, when we see it, you know, it kind of translates, and, you know, whenever we get on the court, we get our opportunity, you just kind of, you know, carry that same energy with you. So, you know, I think that's what's been carrying us so far.
Any other questions? Everybody good? Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year.